Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report, TV3. And Sam and I are really happy to have the head basketball coach at CHS, Kerry Brown, with us. Kerry, welcome.
Good to be here again, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
There's a reason for you to be here because the season is supposed to begin for a Saturday night with a new team, Winchester.
I thought you were going to say because Brent couldn't make it, so I was the standby and the fill-in.
No.
Yeah,
You get the same money as he gets. So.
A new opponent for this year, but we've played Winchester since I've been here, and I think Connersville played them for
a long
time prior to that.
Really?
But we had played them for a while, and for whatever the reason, they went off our schedule, probably when we went up to 4A or whatnot, and just changed some of the teams we were playing. But due to Pendleton inability to play this week, and we didn't want to have the week off and go without a game.
Sure.
We put a little feeler out there, and it was actually started out to be Fort Wayne Snyder one day, and by the next day it ended up being Winchester. The AD just didn't get back with us in a timely manner, so we wanted to make sure we had someone for the game. So
Sure.
Winchester was the next team up, and then got back then, and so we ended up inking them for Saturday night.
I recall we were playing them under single class, and one year we were at regional in Newcastle, and they were there and we were there, and it was a big deal. And year in and year out, they've been pretty good. But we played them a lot when Rodney was coaching.
Yeah, they were really good there for a while. Then they were down a little bit, but they're on the upswing again. They've got a kid that about 6'8". He's got some Division I offers. So, and I don't know what else they have. I got some tape on them from the end of last year because they have not played yet this year. They will play Wednesday and Friday, and then play us Saturday. So we won't really know anything about this year's team until maybe Thursday if we can get that tape from Wednesday night.
Opportunity for any in-person scouting?
Well, we'll check it out, but I'm not sure that anyone's allowing it. I can't even think off the top of my head who their two opponents are Wednesday and Friday. But we'll look and
South
see.
Adams is one.
That sounds familiar.
Yes.
And we'll follow up on that and see if that's a possibility. But if not, hopefully we can trade tape with them or their opponents and get the tape in Wednesdays for sure. And Friday night's game, we might be looking through it Saturday morning.
It's early in the season, though. It's more what you guys do than what the other team does.
Yeah, we can take that approach. I still like to have an idea what the other team's doing. So we've got a couple games from the end of last season. I think we got 3 of them in, so we'll know a little bit about them. Just personnel, find out who their seniors were, who they graduated. We know the one guy they've got back, Sparks, is a pretty good big player.
If we ever have the opportunity to go up there, it's a great atmosphere they have at the old field house. It's away from the high school.
I think we made the trip. I've made that trip once. I know I've been there scouting, but we went there since I've been here. Might have been just the first 2 years I was here. It seems like maybe we went. They came here, we went there, and then we quit playing after that. But yeah, neat facility.
Mm-hmm. I had a coach that one time I said something about their atmosphere and you're 10 points down as soon as you get off the bus. Well, he took great offense to me the next year, but that was about the time I quit interviewing the opposing coach.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Well, it's fortunate they didn't have a ball game Saturday night, Winchester, and could come here, so that worked out well.
Yeah, I don't know how many schools Brent contacted, but at one time none of them had reached back out to him, so I just got on the phone one night when I got home and texted, and I think Snyder, I know their coach is why I contacted them. I saw they were open and they needed a game. Obviously, it's not someone off the top of your head that would come to mind, but I just went through and was trying to find out who needed games and people I knew, and they were interested, but then their AD didn't follow up the next day, and so it became Winchester. But there are a handful of schools out there, but again, distance, proximity. Marion needed games, Jeffersonville needed games. None of them were close. A number of the Fort Wayne schools, And then there's probably a lot of the charter schools and things like that. But, we wanted to play someone who we thought would get something out of the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's great that these kids are coming, and I know they'll appreciate playing in Spartan Bowl. And
I think that's one of the attractions, and I think that's why Fort Wayne Snyder was interested. And, Winchester, of course, I think they think they're going to get a good opponent, and then the atmosphere that they're going to get to play in as well.
Yes. Interesting experience Saturday at Shelbyville.
Yes, it was. First time.
I've never had anything like that happen before. When you walk inside the gym, they said the varsity game will not be played.
Well, I knew it wasn't good when the ticket lady, first thing she said was, the AD needs to talk to you right away. And then as he was walking up to me, he had his phone in his ear. I thought that's not good either. And, long story short, he said, I just got off the phone with our school nurse, and one of our varsity players is tested positive. Our varsity's in quarantine. He said, but our JV and our freshmen practice separately. They must ride separate buses because they'd had a road game the night before at Columbus.
Yes.
And he said, we're good to go with the JV and the freshman games if you guys want to play. So we said, sure. And our freshmen hadn't played yet. We hated to lose that game that night, and hopefully we'll make it up. But our freshmen had their first 3 games canceled, so it turned out to be a good thing for them. And, of course, our JV had played twice and now 3 times. But it just it got our freshmen finally some experience this year.
Both games very interesting, and I'm sure the fans that were in the stands really appreciated the way I can hardly tell the difference that we weren't playing varsity ball because the JV team was great.
Well, they borrowed a couple of our guys. Lucas Barron played because he missed our first game. And then Luke Sollenberger played down with those guys because he just hadn't got as many minutes. And then Gage Brown has come back this year. So he needs some seasoning. And they were all fine with that and understood where we were coming from a coaching staff standpoint. The JVs won a close game. Freshmen lost a close game.
Yes.
2 very entertaining games that
They
night.
were. It's good that you had all 3 teams over there so that people that did come got to see 2 games.
Yeah, sure was.
What's the ICA say about quarters per week? I mean, there's some regulations.
Yeah, you get 5 quarters a night, or like, for example, if it's like a boys-girls doubleheader and the JV's playing the night before and the boys and girls varsities the next night, those 5 quarters can be carried over to both nights. Used to be 80 quarters in a season, but with the 5-quarter rule now, it must be 100. I'll have to check that with Brent, but you're maxed out at the number of quarters that you could play based on having the 25-game schedule.
Okay.
Probably 24, 20 games in one tournament times 5 quarters, I guess, is be almost 25 times 4 would be 100 quarters. So that's more what they look at now.
But you can play 2 full games a week, can't you? I mean,
yeah, you can. Sometimes you play 3. I mean, when we go play in that holiday tournament, we'll play 3 games in 2 days. So it's not games; it's quarters, and it's for the season or for the night.
Okay.
You can play 5 quarters a night.
I understand.
So a few years ago when we were playing all those overtimes, does overtime periods count as quarters?
It's an extension of the 4th quarter.
Okay.
Overtime is an
So
extension
no
of the 4th quarter.
penalty for that?
No, not at all.
Because that one year we could have been in big trouble because every game was overtime.
Yeah, that was the thing to do, I guess, that year. But we were pretty fortunate too. I think in the outcomes.
Very fortunate.
Evidently.
Sometimes you better be lucky than good.
You
sometimes
earned your money those nights.
Fans got free basketball. I mean,
right.
It was good all the way around. Probably better for the fans than was the coaches, the overtimes. I just soon get it settled in regulation.
Yeah, I would think that might keep you up a little bit at night.
For some reason, I don't seem to sleep very well. I don't know if it's basketball or just old age or what. But
Okay, this week's sports schedule at CHS on Tuesday night, the Lady Spartans basketball at Spartan Bowl with Newcastle, the JV at 6, and the varsity will be at 7:30. Boys freshman basketball at Newcastle at 6 p.m. On Wednesday, the Lady Spartans freshman basketball team travels to Franklin County. On Thursday, wrestling home with South Dearborn at the CHS gym. Freshman boys basketball at Cambridge City on Friday. The Lady Spartans basketball with Hagerstown at Spartan Bowl on Friday night. Games at 6 and 7:30, of course. Saturday, the wrestling team will be in the Super 5 at Rushville at 9 o'clock in the morning to start. Swimming right now at CHS Pool with East Central at 11 on Saturday morning. And at night, the boys' basketball opening game of the season at Spartan Bowl with Winchester. Games at 6 and 7:30. So pretty good schedule this week if virus doesn't cause some problems.
Yeah, and I know our original game with Pendleton was supposed to be freshman JV varsity, so I'm not sure if I hope the Winchester game becomes a freshman JV varsity, but I need to follow up on that and find out if Winchester's going to bring a freshman team or not. Because the Pendleton game was a triple header.
I was impressed with the freshmen. I think T.J. Billups is doing a good job, and a lot of potential in that.
We've got some good kids down there. And actually that night, Deontay Smith played back down with them. And then Blaine Hornsby, who's out right now, is another freshman in that class who you didn't see in either game because he's out with an injury.
Right.
So those guys, and then, I thought especially Nate Garrison played well the other night, and Deontay played well. He went back down, and he's been up with us primarily because we've had some guys out with injuries or contact tracing or whatever the case is, and we're getting closer to getting those people back and being healthier. We got some guys out with injuries and contact tracing, and I think we're just about ready to get everybody back. But who knows, when they get back, then just like last week, we got Lucas back, but we lost Braxton for the week. So it may be like that all year.
Right, as you pointed out earlier, it's one of those years that you can't rely really very far ahead.
You could walk into the game and they might tell you you're not playing. I thought it was bad when Franklin County, South Dearborn, they were either on the bus or just got on the bus when they got the call. And I thought, I'd never heard of that before. And then we actually got there and it got canceled. So,
yeah, it was, we hope it doesn't happen again, but who knows? It could. Sam, are you ready for surprises?
I've said it before. I had an Army First Sergeant that always told me maintain a rigid state of flexibility.
Good advice. I mean, gee whiz. Here's the middle school sports at the middle school at Connersville. Monday, boys basketball, red and white teams at Spartan Arena with Sunman Dearborn. On Wednesday, the boys red team at Muncie Southside. The white team home with Cambridge City at the arena. And on Saturday, a basketball invitational at the arena, 1900 Indiana Avenue here in Connersville. That starts at 9 o'clock. I suppose they have restrictions too, Coach, as far as tickets and so on.
Yeah, I saw something on the email today, and it all has to do with the capacity of the facility. So I'm not quite sure what the arena holds, but if we're at 25% and it holds 200 people, I guess we can have 50 people in there.
I don't know what it holds either.
I'm not quite sure what it is. I would say it's probably 400 or 500.
I would think so.
I'm not sure.
I mean, they have a lot of seats on both sides, and they go up pretty far.
It's a pretty nice place to watch games.
It is. It is. It's really a real nice facility for the middle school. It is.
As another gym.
I'm just not quite sure what the capacity is.
But it's a nice facility.
I'm sure the administration knows, though.
Yeah, I'm sure so. They do, right? Area girls basketball records up so far. Centerville is 1-6. They won over Anderson Prep 50-27. They'll beat Seton Catholic Wednesday. Franklin County is 3-5. The girls at Franklin County, they lost at Shelbyville 61-49. They'll be home with Richmond Tuesday, at Rising Sun on Thursday, at South Ripley on Saturday. Richmond is 2-2. They won 47-24 at Logansport. They'll be at Franklin County Tuesday, at Rushville on Thursday. Cambridge City is 2-5. They lost 49-48 in overtime to Union Modoc. They'll be at Westdale on Tuesday, at Winchester on Saturday. The Union County Patriots girls are 4-1. They lost 54-40. They'll They'll be at Shenandoah on Tuesday night. They'll be at Hagerstown Wednesday and Olenburg on Thursday. And then home Saturday with South Decatur. Rushville is 4-3. They lost to Westfield 46-37 at Triton Central Tuesday. Home with Richmond on Thursday. Home Saturday with Greensburg. We'll check the area boys' records so far. Of course, they're just getting underway. Rushville is 1-3. They lost to New Palestine on Saturday night following their defeat to the Spartans on Friday. The New Palestine score was 73-39. They'll be at Franklin County Friday. Union County is yet to get underway. Tuesday with Talawanda will be their first ball game. They'll be at Hagerstown on Friday. Centerville is 0-2. They lost to Franklin County 51-33 at Wapahani on Saturday. Cambridge City is 1-2. They lost at Muncie Burris 83-79. Home Wednesday with Anderson Prep. Richmond is 1-0. They won over Indianapolis Heron 85-56. Home with Marion on Friday. At New Palestine on Saturday. Franklin County is 1-2. Won over Centerville 51-33. Home with Rushville on Friday. Home Saturday with South Ripley. So a lot of sports in the action, and hopefully everybody will get to play.
Coach, question about possible games that we may have to make up or find opponents. Any thought of like Talawanda or anybody nearby, Eaton, anybody in Ohio that has there ever been any thought about that?
I would say that we would be open just to make sure that we're continuing to play and not, if it was, not playing versus playing someone that maybe we traditionally or normally wouldn't play, I would say that we would play them. I know Greensburg played like Trinity Lutheran just this past week, and I'm assuming it's a situation where whoever they were supposed to be playing couldn't play. They couldn't find anybody else and wanted to get a game in. And we're kind of in the same boat. I mean, Fort Wayne Snyder wasn't an ideal opponent. Mm-hmm. Certainly there was someone that was going to present a lot of challenges for us, and that's fine. But they would not have fit the bill of who we were maybe looking for, especially from a distance standpoint. But they needed a game. We were looking for a game. So to answer your question, yeah, there would be, certainly we would look at someone like Talawanda or Tri-Village or anyone like that. But I don't know, the Kentucky high schools, I think, had some stipulations where they weren't going to play across state lines because of COVID. That would have to be something that would be checked out as well. But, yeah, there's a site where you can go check who needs games, and I think that'll be a very welcome support resource for all the coaches and athletic directors in the state.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking that within 40 minutes there are a lot of Ohio schools.
Yeah. No, not a problem. That would not be a problem at all.
Makeup of games is going to be difficult.
Well, I talked with the Shelbyville coach the other night. At least the good thing about that is we could schedule that game on a Wednesday or Thursday because of the distance and the proximity to the two communities. If it was someone like Jennings, I don't know that we want to make that trip on a school night. Example today, Indian Creek was wanting JV boys and girls teams to come to their place, and I'm not sure how far Trafalgar is from here, but I wouldn't be interested in getting on a bus and going over there on school night. If it was a Saturday, that'd be a different story, maybe even a Friday night, but that would certainly play into decisions who you're going to play or who you're not going to play, I think the distance and the night. But like Shelbyville, we should be able to get that game made up as long as a conference game doesn't take priority over it, because how close the two communities are. We can say let's play on a Wednesday or Thursday. Probably a Wednesday or Tuesday might make more sense since most schools are already scheduled for Fridays and Saturdays.
And it wouldn't be a JV game; it'd be the varsity.
No, it would be varsity only.
Couldn't you?
Yeah,
6:30, something like that.
Probably, and probably 6:30 would be better, and let people get home from work and travel.
Right.
For us to travel, so probably a 6:30, even a 7 start would be better, and get us home earlier.
Sure. I know you're very concerned about the conference games, that they are not being played and trying to make up.
Well, they're going to take priority over those other games, and that's one of the things that Pendleton had already expressed to us. I think they had 3 or 4 games in the span that they were going to lose. And Shelbyville's in the same boat, but they verbally communicated they wanted to play this game. So I think we'll get it made up. But Pendleton probably wasn't quite as obvious that they wanted to get it made up. They just said they had some priorities, and their conference games were going to take priority, and ours would as well.
Yes.
Had we not played Rushville Friday night, that would take priority over some other games on our schedule.
So we have 6 conference games remaining.
Yeah, and we need to play. We need to play them all. I mean, I guess there's an outside chance that maybe you just couldn't get one of them made up, especially with Franklin County and Lawrenceburg being that last week of the season. If one of those would get postponed, I mean, the sectional's the next week, so it'd be awful tough to make one of those up.
Right. Is Greensburg the Spartans' main opponent for conference honors?
I would say that going into the year, they're the conference and the sectional favorite again. They've got the Sparks kid back. I saw he had like 29 in their game the other night, and the Cummer kid, younger brother, whose brother is at Bellarmine playing right now. We remember him. He had 32, and he had 8 threes in the game. So they've got 2 really good players back. Their center is back from last year's team, the Stanley kid, as well, who started. So they've got 3 starters back. But I think the other teams in the conference are all better right now. I think from top to bottom, the conference has improved. An example, we played Rushville the other night, and they didn't have their best kid, about 6'6", and he's a really good player.
Should be an interesting year. Hopefully everything works out and schools remain in session and basketball continues like it's...
I think it's going to be interesting, unlike any other year. Hopefully there'll still be some tremendous memories for the kids, the athletes, the students, and we'll get through all this. I mean, it's a bump in the road.
Yeah,
it
the
really
time
is.
I remember being unusual season was during the coal strike.
That's what I was just thinking as you were going there. Yeah, I remember playing in the middle of the afternoon because it had something to do with the light and the coal, I'm sure, and didn't want to, have the parking lights on.
Was, as I recall, there was a time between sectional and regional, like a few weeks. So
Jay County came down. We played Jay County on a Saturday afternoon just to have a game to
Yep.
keep the kids fresh.
Yeah, I remember those days as well. And that did seem different going and playing. Probably today it's not because the kids play AAU and they play at 8 a.m. and they play at 1 p.m. and they play at 9 p.m. But back in those days, we weren't playing when when the sun was still out. That was different.
Right.
When was that? What years?
I'm thinking 78, 79, somewhere in there.
It
Yeah.
was not too far removed from the blizzard year. But
Okay, that was 78. Yes,
Yeah,
it
might
was-
have been 78, 79.
might have been, yeah. But
the miners went. I don't remember the miners went
well,
on.
there was a coal strike.
Okay.
Here in Indiana, National Guard was called out. I wasn't. I was in the Guard at the
Yeah,
time. There were
activated.
units that were activated
Yes.
just to keep things moving, and we were all asked to conserve, turn off the lights at night, and somewhere recently I saw a switch that had a sign on it like that. It reminded me of that.
and I always thought that was good practice anyway. Dad always told me, turn off your bedroom light when you come out of there. So.
Well, we don't need anything like that either with what's going on right now.
No, we don't.
But, well, it's going to be a great season. I'm impressed. I think our kids are going to be all right. I think the team's going to be okay.
We've got a lot of work to do, but I thought we showed a lot of growth between Game 1 and Game 2, and if we continue improvement like that throughout the course of the season, I think we have the ability to be a good team. We'll see what happens, and we haven't had all of our pieces yet either. Carter Bodwell's out. Lucas Barron just got back. Braxton Myers out now. Josh Williams is going to get back too, as I'm probably missing someone, but then we'll have to get them all worked together and everybody on the same page. And unfortunately, we haven't had them in practice all together to do that yet. So, but we'll get there.
I was impressed Friday night. Did you and your assistants have to do much coaching? I mean, it seemed like the kids knew what to do with the basketball whenever they had it.
Yeah, I only remember talking about two things at halftime, really. I thought there was a stretch when we played a little bit fast in the second quarter, and we had too many turnovers, just too fast, poor decisions. And then the other thing was I thought we had given up too many offensive rebounds, and it was an effort or, just, getting into somebody and making them feel you, so to speak. Those were really the only two things we talked about at halftime, just wanting to clean up. But when you make 15 out of 17 two-point field goals and you make 7 out of 16, whatever it was, three-point field goals, everything looks so much better than when you shoot 4 of 19 from three-point line. So, but that was because I think they just, for the most part, they slowed down. They made the extra pass. They trusted their teammate, and that's been a common theme of mine, is just to, trust your teammates and don't feel like, you have to do it, and making good decisions. And the better job we do of that, then the better team we're going to have this year.
I thought they made good decisions in the fourth quarter when they had a nice lead to, you've talked about it many times, layups and free throws, and that's what we were seeing.
We had some great effort plays, too. I know Caleb Sparks ended up with 5 steals in the game, and none of them were probably the ones that he directly stole, but they were deflected passes, which sometimes goes unseen. But before the guy can steal it, a lot of times somebody deflects that pass. And then I thought James Williams and Luke Sollenberger had great effort going to the boards, especially the offensive boards, which I think is going to end up being a strength of ours this year. Cole's going to do a good job. Gage is going to do a good job. James and Luke are both doing a good job in that respect already. So I think that'll end up being maybe something that where we haven't been as strong in the past. I think that'll be a strength of ours this year.
You mentioned Cole playing inside and playing beyond the arc as well.
Yeah, and that's the kind of type player he is, because he doesn't elevate. Otherwise, he might be more inside. And he shoots a good percentage. He really does. When we do our shooting drills, he's probably our best big three-point shooter. And if you notice what we do, when they play in, they play out. Some of them can only play out to the free throw line 15 feet, but Cole and Gage actually shoots it okay. He's probably not comfortable stepping out and shooting that shot yet. But James is probably to the free throw line, but then James does a great job inside. Braxton plays in there, and Lucas Barron. So it gives us some versatility with our big guys.
You go to the other end of this. Jonah, he's not afraid to go inside either, and he's always the smallest guy out there.
He probably had his best game, and I think I mentioned this to you. We track post feeds, paint touches, offensive rebounds, anything that gets it in the lane, because whoever gets the ball into the lane, more times than not, is going to win the game. And I think he had 12 paint touches our last game. Either he got it in there directly or he fed somebody in there. And those are things that we track because good plays come off of that. And he did a great job in the Rushville game of doing that.
You're fortunate to have former ball players as your coaches.
Yeah.
Got Charles Peterson and Andrew Stein at the JV level, and T.J. Billups at the freshman level. They all mirror the Spartans, which is what you want.
And Chris Bomley didn't play for me, but Chris is a former Spartan too.
That's right.
Out. So,
that's right.
JD and I are the outsiders, but JD's boys played for me, so I am. It's great when those guys come back and they want to be a part of what we're doing and give back to the kids in our program. And that's great.
And they volunteer.
Yeah, some of them volunteer, and even the ones that get paid, it's not.
Sure.
It's just it's peanuts for the amount of time that they put in.
Right. We got a great program here at CHS, and it pays off for us. And the fans, they sort of show up when they can, when they're able to get in to see the game.
Well, I'm fortunate. I mean, there's been a great program here for a long time, and I was fortunate to get the opportunity to come here and coach. And it's been a good experience for me, and hopefully it'll continue for myself and everybody else.
Coach, thanks a million for joining us, and we'll see you Saturday, and Spartans will get a win, and off we go.
Thanks, guys. That's our intentions. We'll do our best.
I know you will. Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Good night.